Welcome back, everybody. This is my Artist's Way Week 3 reflection. Week 3 was recovering a sense of power, and in it we talked about a lot of things. There's one thing that happened that I'm like really excited about to share, and it's just crazy because it just kind of shows you, I feel like, how the universe works. But anyways, we talked about anger this week. We talked about synchronicity. We talked about dealing with criticism and shame this week. Talked about growth. And then we had all of our tasks. I feel like I don't really know where to start, but maybe I'll do the check-in first. So how many days this week did you do your morning pages? I did my morning pages again every day this week. So I'm proud of that. Did you do your artist state this week? Actually, no, not technically. I did not, or just no, there's no technically. I didn't do my artist state this week. To be honest, I got really busy, and like the first half of the week I was just like working and doing like work stuff. And then Thursday I left to go visit my sister in Florida with my dad, and I was there like all weekend and didn't get back till Monday. So yeah, I just didn't plan it very well. But to make up for it a little bit, this morning I put some like cute little stickers on my Artist Way book that my friend Taylor got for me. So, and that was kind of just fun because I remember when I was a kid, I was one of those kids that like never wanted to use their stickers because they were just like too nice or too good to use. But as an adult, I've decided like to do away with all that. So yeah, I put some cute little stickers on my book here. But yeah, so that brought me a little joy. I feel like, you know, I'll get my artist state done next week. I don't have to be like perfect at everything. And then the next check-in was, did you experience any synchronicity this week? And this is the thing that I really wanted to talk about and was like super excited to talk about. Because like one of the points of this week that we discussed was synchronicity. And this whole chapter on like, so this week, week 3, Julia went off. I felt like every single sentence like in this chapter was like a banger, and like so much so that I was like, I mean, I've been underlining and making notes in the book as I've gone through it. But I told Isaac, I was like, I have to read you this little piece about synchronicity. So I ended up like reading him the chapter, and he actually really agreed with a lot of it and said that he felt like in some of the material he listens to, a lot of the similar concepts come up. So it's just interesting to like talk about. But anyways, so the synchronicity that I experienced this week. So last week I can't remember. So I filmed this video, I think, and then I think after I filmed this video, the same day, I filmed my reflection, and then the same day I went to Walgreens because I had finished my resumes, finished my, portfolio for my like creative work and stuff. And I have decided to like leave my corporate job and made a plan to like essentially just pursue a part-time florist position because I think that's something I would really enjoy. And it would give me, just space to kind of like recover from like the burnout and just have more time and pursue my creative endeavors and pursue floral artistry in a way that doesn't feel too like overwhelming at first, like just to give me some space. So I went to Walgreens, printed out all my stuff, was like really excited to pick up all my portfolio, which I don't have it in here. I think it might be in a different room. But then as I got home and then started to like sit down to do work for the day, and to be honest was just feeling very like just not wanting to work, and I was like procrastinating a little bit. So I opened my phone and I got on TikTok, which I have a TikTok, but I told myself a long time ago, I'm like, I don't really go, like I don't scroll on TikTok for hours at a time. It's just not something I do. But, and I've also deleted the Instagram app off my phone. So I'm running out of things to scroll on because like, I don't want to be scrolling, but then every now and again, it's like that dopamine kick. I feel like your brain just I was just trying to avoid my work. So anyways, I got on TikTok and opened the app, and the very first TikTok that popped up was a floral design apprentice for this floral studio nearby where I live in Apex. And I just saw it and was like, what? Like, floral design, like apprentice. And it was like saying like seeking out a part-time, someone to like work with me part-time and learn the ins and outs of floral design, and I can like teach you, and I'm hoping to find somebody who like can grow more in my business with me, like long term. Like this isn't a position for somebody who just wants to play with flowers. Like it's like if you're really wanting to do this. It was this one girl, and she's or woman, and she's yeah, looking for somebody to take on. And I saw that and I was like like I kind of just like broke down in like tears a little bit, honestly, because I was just like what are the chances, you know? Like, I mean, I know our phones are listening to us, and you could just say like, well, your phone's listening to you, like blah, blah, blah. But like, what are the chances that I finish my resume, finish my portfolio literally the day before, print out all my stuff. I'm like ready, like I have like this fire to like go to all these like florists and like start applying. Like I just feel super motivated about it and excited. And then like, what are the chances all of a sudden I just like open my phone and boop, like this this opportunity just like falls into my lap essentially. And so of course I like immediately, it said like, email her for the official application link. And so of course I like immediately emailed her. I like said a short little blurb about myself, and then attached my the link to my online creative portfolio, and said like I would love the link to the application. And then not like 5 minutes later, she emails me back and sends me the link. And so I filled out the application like right away, submitted it same day. And yeah, that was last week, like literally right after I got all of that done. And I was just like literally like, what are the chances, like, anyways. And I don't want to like get my hopes up too much. But and then throughout this last week, as I've kind of been like waiting for a response, I haven't heard back from her still. It's only been a week. But I'm losing my train of thought. Sorry, my thoughts are just going very quickly. Oh, and I was saying that like throughout this week, as I was doing these exercises and continuing to work at my normal job, I really did find myself getting like angry and just feeling so much like anxiety and stress, because like even though I had this opportunity plopped into my lap like right before I went to Florida, initially it did give me some peace of mind. I sort of went into the weekend being like, oh, like I've already got one application in the works, but then at the same time, I still found myself having anxiety and worrying about it and being like, is she going to email me back? Like, do I need to like follow up and reach out and email her again? And I was like flip-flopping back and forth between like, do I email her or do I just let it be? Because like I submitted my application. Maybe I don't need to have my claws in this so tightly. And even when I first applied, like it was one of those moments where it felt a little like too good to be true. Like I was like, what? Like this thing just popped up and she's wanting somebody who's super serious. And at first I felt a little intimidated. And I told like my sister and Isaac, like I suspect, like I feel like led to go do some sort of part-time floral design position. I think I would enjoy it, but at the same time, like I don't know if I really want to do this the rest of my life. And her asking for help from somebody who, really wants to be more serious about it and grow with her business. At first, that intimidated me a little bit, because I'm like, I don't want to disappoint her. What if I don't want to do this my entire life? not that I have to do it my entire life either way. But anyways, I was like, started to have all these thoughts, like just swimming, overthinking. I still submitted the application. Like Abby and Isaac both said, you're like way overthinking this, just submit the application. This is a great opportunity. Anywho, so I was like worrying about it like all this last week. But then as I was thinking about it, like the more and more I think about like this opportunity, you know, I have this opportunity to work with this woman who owns her own business, who's looking for somebody to really like teach floral design and grow with her and grow with her business. And there's also infinite paths. It's not like there's just these two. But if I didn't get this position, and if I had just applied somewhere else, like maybe I'd be still working part-time doing floral, you know, design somewhere else, but it could end up being like just a part-time job and not much room for growth or personal development or advancement. And as I was kind of thinking about those two options, even though I sort of feared like committing to this thing that like, what if I don't want to do this really? As I was thinking about it, like I realized that maybe I don't want to just do a part-time florist design job. You know, I am the type of person who really likes to, you know, create their own thing. Like and like have my own business. Like I remember when we were growing up, we used to play like shops, and like we had these boulders in our front lawn, and like all the kids in the neighborhood would have their own boulder, and we'd all like pretend to have our own little shops and like sell our little merchandise or whatever that we would like create out of like sticks and twigs and flowers. And like we would sell, like trade our merchandise with each other, and like I just always thought that was so fun. And like I've always had either like a Depop shop or an Etsy shop where, you know, I'm selling my things that I make, like embroidering shirts, reselling clothes. I had a shop on Instagram where I like created and sold faux fur ears for like a long time for like cosplay and stuff. And like I have always loved having my own business and creating things and like putting my all into like making something that I truly feel is like beautiful and special and like contributes to the world in some way. Like, and the more I was thinking about it, I'm like, I actually feel like this would be a really good fit for me, because like here's this girl who already has this thing, and like I really want to be able to contribute and feel that like the work I'm doing is meaningful and contributing. Like I would love to create like beautiful arrangements for people's weddings and like have the honor of like going there and like setting everything up and just like being able to be a part of and contribute to like this person's like special, most important day of their life, pretty like one of the few, and like really be in a position where I can like take ownership of like all the steps of the process and like learn everything and just like really excel and grow like so much in a way that allows me to be like creative, but still pursue like something that I'm passionate about, that I'm also like, I know I have talents in. Like I've always been very driven and organized, and like I've always wanted to kind of like maybe even do my own business, but like maybe this is just a way where I can do that with somebody else. I don't know. So yeah, the long story short, like I just feel like this would actually be a really good opportunity for me, and I'm really excited about it. But I was like freaking out about like, I feel like I was freaking out so much, and maybe I'll just read, I know you're not supposed to read your morning pages or whatever, but like, who cares? Like, this is my YouTube channel and my journey, so I can do what I want. But anyways, I just want to read the morning pages I wrote today because like I was really reflecting on a lot of this after having done like my oracle card reading this morning. So I'm just gonna read it and maybe I'll explain it after. So it says, I said, just trust and believe that you have been provided for. And this is also reflecting on my whole weekend I had too. Just trust and believe that you've been provided for. Like Dad's story about the coins, Abby's story about the cooler, and even Abby saying, can't you just trust that I have provided for you? No need to check all the boxes. Task separation. I have my tasks, the universe has hers. Trust in Dakshina Kali that she wants to bestow gifts upon you. And the card that I pulled this morning was Dakshina Kali. I've pulled this card like 3 or 4 times in the last month, and it's really, Dakshina Kali is kind of representing the form of Kali that just wants to give to you and wants to bestow gifts upon you. But in order to like receive those gifts, it's saying that like, you know, we need to kind of like offer up a gift ourselves, just because like giving a gift helps you often feel like more receptive. And anyways, it was just talking about that gift. It doesn't have to be a physical thing. It can just be like prayers or, you know, speaking with Kali or the universe, whatever you desire, whatever form of God you like to speak to. And like, anyway, let me just keep reading. I'm getting off track. But yeah, I have my tasks, the universe has hers. She wants to bestow gifts upon you, like a mother who loves spoiling her child. It brings her joy just to provide. Calming the inner storm, the storm in a teacup will subside when we truly trust and believe that we'll be provided for. The inner storms calm when we dwell on the belief. See Kali sitting next to you, your equal, your comrade, encouraging you, seeing that which you cannot see. It will all be okay. Trust that I have provided for you and rest in that belief. You are special, you are loved. I will not leave you. Maybe it helps some people to see Jesus, but for me it helps to see Kali, a woman, powerful, sensual, fearless, reckless, unafraid to stand up for herself. There is no fear. Fear is an illusion that arises when you have lost belief in your own power to change your circumstances. Like the geisha moon goddess I first saw, that was during like a separate story. Fearless, she sees the forest for the trees and understands the greater picture, the scheme at hand. She knows it is all meant for her, and she knows that she has the love within and without. The world is all connected, always. Her love is always here. She is our mother, we are our mother. Fierce, sweet, fire. I know that's kind of like a little all over the place, but anyways, I was just really reflecting on all the fear I had this week and fear in general, and how the only thing standing between like us and our best self, our dream life, really truly is like our courage, our needing to find courage. Fear is just a lack of belief in the power that you hold. We all hold inherent power, and you know, there's a lot of talk about healing and like trauma these days, I feel like. And I really truly believe that like in all of that, like even CPTSD, there is no brokenness. There is no brokenness. Like we are so whole. And a lot of us have just had experiences in which we have been led to believe that we do not have the power within ourselves or the courage to stand up and like do something different and change our lives. And so like that's just something I was reflecting on like this morning. And even just like with the trusting and believing that like I am deserving of gifts, you know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just need to trust that I will be provided for, and the universe wants to give to me like a mother who loves to give gifts to her child. Like I'm not a mother, but I have a cat, Peanut, and like I love buying little gifts for my cat, and for my friends, like I love to give gifts to them, and like it's a completely like giving a gift makes me happy, and I'm not asking for anything in return. Like it actually brings me so much joy to like especially make something and then give it to somebody else and just see the reaction on their face and how much they love it and how much it like means to them. Like that brings me joy. And I think for a long time I've believed that like maybe like I'm not deserving of such gifts, or that I shouldn't ask for those gifts because asking for a gift is selfish. But I feel like if we truly ask from like the depths of our soul and like our true heart, then like the universe wants to bestow gifts upon us. And this is kind of a silly little anecdote, but when I was in Florida visiting my sister this weekend, we went to a baseball game and my sister was talking the whole weekend about how she really wants a new cooler, like for drinks and stuff, because she's been using a cheap little styrofoam cooler for a long time, and every time she goes to the beach, she borrows her friend's cooler, and she just really wanted her own cooler. And so we were at this baseball game, and they gave away a cooler to somebody like on the big screen playing a little game or whatever. And then right after they did that, the announcer guy, we saw him like walking through the stands, and he was standing like right near us, like on our row of seats. And so we were telling my sister, like, you should go talk to him and ask him if he has, like, if he could go up there and win something, or ask if he has any other coolers. And so Abby, my sister, asked the guy, he was like, she said, hey, like, y'all don't happen to be giving out any other coolers, are you? I'm like, I really need a new one. And the guy actually responded and was like, actually, we are giving away more coolers. And so he ended up telling her, he was like, I'll come back for you. And so anyway, long story short, she ends up going up, winning another, like a cooler for herself. And it's just funny that, like, I don't know, I feel like, and like I've even had experiences too, like when I was searching for some sort of mentor in the dance space, I physically spoke out to the universe. I was like, please, like, I really, universe, whatever you want to call it, like, please bring to me a mentor that can help usher me through this, like, fear of being seen. Like, I really want to feel the confidence that, you know, it is safe to be myself around others. And like, I just really am praying for like a mentor to come into my life that can help me there. And then, like, as you know, but like a week later or something, I found Reagan, and Reagan had this offering, and I signed up with her. And it's just like, I really feel like the universe wants to like bestow things upon us. So, I like totally lost where I was going with that story. But another part of the cooler story was all that happened, and then we got the cooler, we're sitting back down in our seats, and some random guy like walks up, and he walks up to my sister and comes to her and says, you know, what you did was amazing, and anytime you tell this story to someone about how you won this cooler, you should tell them that you asked, you know, if they had any more coolers, and that you asked to be up there and they said yes. And he was saying that, like, what was it? Here, I put some notes in my phone because I found what he said very impactful. He said, you make your own luck. And luck is really just a combination of preparedness and opportunity. So if you are prepared, if you know what you are desiring, even if you don't know specifically, like for me, like maybe I didn't know specifically what I want to do, but I kind of know the essence. I felt like I knew the essence of something that I might like to do. So if you're prepared with the desire, and then the opportunity arises, then you have everything within that you need within you to kind of create your own luck and like go for this opportunity and essentially ask for the thing that you've been desiring. And he also said, if you continue to ask and you continue to receive, then you're not asking for enough. So if I'm asking for this floral design position, essentially the universe gives it to me, then like I'm not asking enough, essentially. Or just like if you keep, you know what I'm trying to say. But I just found what he said like very impactful, and it kind of, I don't know, it just felt relevant to my situation. So that was, I guess that was a synchronicity too, was just like having the opportunity to see that happen like in my sister's life, and to be there and have this guy come up to talk to us. Because yeah, it was just really cool. But maybe I'll read some of the portions in the book about synchronicity, just because, like I said, like I found it really impactful. Synchronicity. I really wish I could just read this whole section. So, okay. Synchronicity. Answered prayers are scary. They imply responsibility. You asked for it. Now that you've got it, what are you going to do? Why else the cautionary phrase, watch out for what you pray for, you might just get it. Answered prayers deliver us back to our own hand. This is not comfortable. We find it easier to accept them as examples of synchronicity. And I feel like that even kind of, that definitely applied to me. Like I was like put out into the universe that like I want a part-time forest position. It feels like something I might like. And then one got dropped into my lap, but it implied a larger responsibility, not just a job where you're playing with flowers, but like a job where you're actually growing with the business. And at first that seemed scary, but then the more I thought about it, I realized like, no, this actually feels aligned. But anyway, so then that implies responsibility. And then there was another part here that I underlined. It's my experience that we're much more afraid that there might be a God than we are there might not be. Incidents like those above happen to us, and yet we dismiss them as sheer coincidence. People talk about how dreadful it would be if there were no God. I think such talk is hooey. Most of us are a lot more comfortable feeling we're not being watched too closely. And then that question of expectations interests me. If there is no God, or if that God is disinterested in our puny little affairs, then everything can roll along as always, and we can feel quite justified in declaring certain things impossible, other things unfair. If God, or the lack of God, is responsible for the state of the world, then we can easily wax cynical and resign ourselves to apathy. What's the use? Why try changing anything? This is the use. If there is a responsive creative force that does hear us and act on our behalf, then we may really be able to do some things. The jig, in short, is up. God knows that the sky's the limit. And that really reminded me of, I think it's the Marianne Williamson quote, and I've talked about it in a video before, but it says, it's something to the effect of, we are not afraid that we can't do something, or that we don't have the power to do something. We're actually afraid of like the immense power that we hold. Something to that effect. I sort of forget exactly how it goes every time. But it's basically talking about how it's easier to believe that the world is out to get you, that you have no power to change your life, that you're not really in control of things, that, you can't do ABC because of XYZ. Like it's easier to go about your life sometimes with that sort of restrictive mindset because it keeps you from acknowledging the true power and responsibility that you have and responsibility in your life to have to change to become that person. Like if I were to acknowledge the true power that I have to actually change my life, then I have to change my life. And that change can be painful and scary and can feel more difficult sometimes than just staying the same. Because the same, like we know what the same is what we know. And, the unknown feels scary and we don't want to put ourselves out there or do the work it takes to achieve the goals we hope to have, and similarly, if we don't believe, in a God, sometimes, denying that like these coincidences or synchronicities exist, sometimes that's easier than like if you were to admit that like something is up, there's something larger in the universe at stake. But I found that interesting. And then there's just this other quote. In outsized lives, such moments stand out in bas relief, large as Mount Rushmore. Lewis and Clark headed west. Isaac Dinesen took off for Africa. We all have our Africas, those dark and romantic notions that call to our deepest selves. When we answer that call, when we commit to it, we set in motion the principle that C.G. Jung dubbed synchronicity, loosely defined as fortuitous intermeshing of events. It is my experience that this is the case. I have learned as a rule of thumb never to ask whether you can do something. Say instead that you are doing it, then fasten your seatbelt. The most remarkable things will follow. And it also says, in my experience, the universe falls in with worthy plans, and most especially with festive and expansive ones. I have seldom conceived a delicious plan without being given the means to accomplish it. And then there's a little quote here that says, desire, ask, believe, receive. And I that was really like the theme when I did my first reflection on like my vision board for this year. One of my tags that I really put was like not just listening to my intuition, but following it and trusting, believing, and receiving. Like just trust, flow, and receive. Like I just want to trust that I will be provided for, trust, my intuition, actually follow it, and then just see what happens and receive and be open to receiving and know that I am worthy of it. Yeah, so anywho. So yeah, I don't know, this whole week, that was kind of like the theme of my week, I guess. I know I kind of waxed on about a lot of the same thing maybe, but this week really gave me some hope. I feel like that, I don't know why these things are happening. It kind of feels like I said, like too good to be true a little bit, but like I believe that, I've told a couple people that like maybe, what did I say exactly? I think I just said like maybe the universe wants to give me beautiful, amazing things, and like maybe I can just receive that, and I don't have to change at all in order to receive that. Like I am already worthy and valuable as I am, and the universe, maybe she wants to bestow gifts upon me, and I don't have to change at all, and I just have to trust and believe that like whatever is happening is for the best, for the good of all. Maybe I won't end up getting this job and I'll end up going somewhere else, but I will still be okay. And I just have to trust that like there's a larger path, a larger plan in place that I just don't know like the ins and outs of, but I don't need to know. I just need to know, sometimes like even with my YouTube channel, I feel like a lot of times like I don't plan out my videos. Sometimes I'll have little inspiration ideas for things, but I really just look at like what do I want to do next, and that's my next step forward. And right now, like this is my next step forward. And sometimes you put a desire out into the universe, and then the universe seems to reveal the next stepping stone for you. And then you have to have the courage to leap and take it. If you ask for something and then you receive it, the opportunity, it's now up to you to have the courage to leap and take it. And I think like uncovering that courage, rediscovering that courage really is the healing work. It's the work in knowing that we truly do have the power to change our lives. We truly do have the power to be whoever we want to be, to do whatever we want to do. I feel like I heard that so much growing up, and it kind of just went in one ear and out the other because I just didn't believe it. And it didn't really feel like actually like a possibility. But I think slowly over time, as you do this work, you start to believe it a little more. So anyways, I am definitely ending my week 3 with an increased sense of power and trust. So yeah, that's been really nice. And upcoming week is going to be week 4, recovering a sense of integrity. So it says this week you may find yourself grappling with changing self-definition. The essays, tasks, and exercises are designed to catapult you into productive introspection and integration of new self-awareness. This may be both very difficult and extremely exciting for you. Warning, do not skip the tool of reading deprivation. Oh, frick. This might be the reading deprivation week. Like, I sort of know about this because I've watched Dochi do the Artist's Way, but there's like a week where you're essentially not supposed to look at any screens or read anything or take in any information. And I kind of sort of thought that was going to be happening later. But okay, whatever. Maybe I need to do it. If it's there, I'm going to do it. But anywho. Okay, thanks for listening to me talk for so long. I'm glad that you're all here. And I hope you have a good week ahead of you. Whatever happens in your life, just know that like there is a larger purpose, even if you can't see it right now, even if the situation you find yourself in feels really shitty. Like I've been through a lot of shitty situations, but like looking back in hindsight, like I can see how the dots all connect, and like we just have to trust that there's a greater force willing our good in the universe that wants to bestow gifts upon us, and that we can grow and learn from every situation we encounter. So anyway, all that being said, I was going to say, I hope you have a good day, but it's really up to you. So have a good day. Bye.